When you're building your film strategy, the most important and difficult part is to find your audience. In this video, I will share 5 film consumer profiles that will help you to understand your audience's behavior in a better and effective way. Coming up. Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Aniasfura, and in this channel every Thursday I share tips and tools to help indie filmmakers build their film strategies. So if you want to be part of this industry and this community, consider subscribing. Now, let's jump into the video. As you probably already know, we usually determine our target by the demographics information, like age, gender, social class, income, and education. But if you really want to know them and you want to connect with them, start building a relationship for a long term, you need to find them by their behaviors and their hobbies and not only by their demographics. The 5 profiles that we're going to check next are based on a report made by the Media European Commission a few years ago. Let's begin. Number 1. Hyper-connected movie addicts. These are the heaviest consumers of media and films. They are more often digital natives, young men aged between 16 to 25, living in urban areas close to local cinemas, highly engaged in media and culture, and well equipped with a variety of media devices and services. They watch all sorts of films. They are film fans, actively looking for information about the most recent films available with expert opinions, advising their friends and relatives about the best films to see, and by commenting and discussing them on social media, creating an early buzz. They are natural consumers of indie films because they are interested in every kind of film. They find indie cinema less difficult than other film consumers because they have a deeper and more eclectic film culture. They consume and like all kinds of films, from commercial to art house, and they also watch films from outside their own country or continent, trying to learn more about other cultures. Number 2. Rush independent movie selectives. These are the second largest group in terms of film consumption. They are more often active adults with few or no children, women between 26 and 50 earning average incomes but with a fairly high level of education, working in intellectual professions such as academia and teaching. They live in urban areas like the movie addicts and thus have easy access to theaters and multiplexes, but they lack time and to some extent money to attend the cinema too often. They watch carefully selected films on the more sophisticated side rather than US blockbusters, which they see as too stereotypical, or big hit national comedies that they see as too commercial and sometimes lacking the intellectual sophistication that they are after. They define themselves as cinema lovers and film fans and are the core audience for a more diverse cinema, for art house films, for example, originating from foreign countries. They engage in many cultural activities but are not the media freaks that the movie addicts tend to be. They lack time, so they inform themselves from fewer sources, preferably serious sources such as film database, rather than social networks or word of mouth, which they do not really trust. When choosing what to see, they go straight to the core of the film, which is a story. It has to be different, special, and intelligent, and they trust their own judgment rather than the others. Number 3. Mainstream blockbusters lovers. These are the third largest group in terms of film consumption, but unlike movie addicts and movie selectives, they mainly watch US blockbusters and only a few foreign films. Their socio-demographic profile and media equipment is very close to average. They live in less urban areas and thus have more limited access to cinema, especially theaters. They are more often middle management workers with limited incomes and a more mainstream culture appetite in general, although their level of education is above average. Price matters to them, so they are careful about going to the cinema and favor TV, which they see as a cheaper way of watching films. They define themselves as cinema fans and lovers at levels comparable to movie addicts and movie selectives. Thus, their small appetite for foreign films is not due to any weaker relationship with film, but rather to their dislike of most foreign productions, except for the most commercial, which they think are of a lower standard than US productions, being too dark and too orientated towards social issues. They like action and adventure, which foreign films often lack. National comedy is what brings them to national cinema, along with the most commercial foreign films, the ones with a big story, rather than an intimate setting. They do not actively research films because they keep informed through mostly traditional advertising, which US films use heavily. Number 4. Occasional hit grazers. These are lighter film consumers and lighter consumers of media and culture in general. They watch television, read books, listen to music, and surf the internet quite a lot, including social networks, but are less interested in newspapers and in films, which is expensive and not always available near their homes. They are more often younger, semi-urban or rural women going to school or in the middle of their studies. They define themselves as interested in cinema, though not as much as the first 3 groups, and watch a diversity of films, though significantly fewer. They watch more US films, like old people in general, but show an interest in foreign films whose overall quality they clearly value. They have more problems with national cinema, which is not really made for them, but are attracted mostly to national comedies rather than drama. They like family entertainment and animation as well as teen comedies. They are potentially interested in foreign films because they are young and open to foreign cultures, but that kind of cinema needs to be better promoted to them and more easily accessible. They are not very engaged film consumers, they do not actively look for information, and will not comment and discuss films online, although they are responsive when their friends recommend films to them. And finally, number 5, movie indifference, which are the lightest film consumers by far and in general remote from most cultural activities other than TV and video games. They are more often either young or older men, less educated, living in the most rural and semi-urban areas, and the less equipped with media devices and services, especially the most expensive ones such as smart TVs, home video, high-speed internet, or pay TV. Only a few define themselves as cinema fans, and 1 in 5 of them say they do not like cinema and do not think this will change. They are little interested in film apart from action and comedy, and mostly US blockbusters. A majority of them simply never see other film genres. They watch film mostly on TV, that is free TV. The cost of access to other film platforms is an issue for them, and in addition, their indifference to cinema explains their overall lack of interest in film. They do not really know how they choose films and do not discuss films either in social media, which they are the lightest users of anyway. They are not even using pirate platforms to watch films. One other key aspect of their indifference is that they have by far the lowest level of knowledge of film education programs, and are the only group to clearly deny their benefits. Well, as you could see, the first 3 groups are the heart of the film audiences. Meanwhile, the last 2 groups are more difficult to reach. I hope these 5 profiles can help you to find your audience and work in a better and effective strategy to reach them. Hit the like button if this video was valuable for you. You can also leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep learning about the film industry every week. Once again, thank you so much for being here and check out this video. Keep crushing it and see you next time.